Hey guys, it's Michaela Ray. Welcome back or welcome to my channel if you are new. Today's video topic is all about weight loss and being on your weight loss journey. If you follow me on TikTok, I do post a little bit more frequently on there about being on my wellness, fitness, weight loss journey, whatever you want to call it. I am starting to post a little bit more about my journey on here, so I thought that today's video would be perfect, which is some things that I wish I knew before starting my weight loss journey. I now have been on my weight loss journey. I think I started back in September. I have to like fact check that, but I'm pretty sure that I started back in September, and this is going to be tips that I wish I knew because I did kind of like start my journey and then fall off of it and then pick back up earlier this year. So I just want to be honest and real and talk about what has worked for me, things that I wish I knew, things that I would have done differently. I do want to preface that everyone's weight loss journey is going to look very different. So again, what might work for me may not work for you, but I just want to share some tips to hopefully inspire you to keep going on your journey or to inspire you to start if you've been thinking about it. So with that being said, let's get into the video. At the time of this video, I officially lost 16 pounds. And like I said, I'm pretty sure I started back in September, and today is currently April 30th. So about 7 months of me being on this journey, and that's with losing 16 pounds. Honestly, I feel like that's pretty good because I am honestly not trying to lose weight super fast. I will go into that being my first tip, is that I am not trying to rush my weight loss journey. I feel like I see other people, which obviously that might work for them, but for me personally, I learned that steady growth or steady weight loss is more sustainable for me because I don't feel like I have to restrict myself from too much food or do these crazy workouts to lose the weight. I can still like lose it slow and still see the progress that I want to. So I personally am very proud of myself for losing these 16 pounds in the 7 months. I will say that I think back in like November is when I slacked off on my journey because that was around the holidays. So I was not eating the best. I had kind of stopped working out. So I think I lost like 5 pounds in my first month, and then I kind of gained some of it back, and then it took me about like maybe 2.5 months to really get back into a routine. And I would say since like March I've been pretty consistent, maybe even late February, and I've lost like more weight since then. So in total, again, the 16 pounds, and that has seemed to work for me. And I feel like I feel better than I did when I first lost like the 5 pounds. And I feel like I've learned a lot since then to now what works for my body and like how I want to lose weight. My next tip is that weight loss does not have to be boring. You truly just have to find what works for you. I was someone who never liked working out in high school. I never would participate in PE, or anytime we'd have to run the mile, I would always walk it. Like I just did not like doing certain workouts. And at the time, since those were like the workouts that were pushed on me, I just was like, oh, I just don't like working out. But I've learned as I've gotten older and I have free will now that I can actually do workouts that inspire me or keep me motivated and that I actually enjoy. So for me, that is doing yoga, that is going on my walking pad, taking walks outside. I, as you can tell, am a low impact kind of workout girly. I don't like to be sore. Weightlifting is not for me. Running is not for me. And that's totally fine. You can still lose weight and not have to feel like you need to do these like hard, intensive workouts. The biggest thing is just finding those workouts that you enjoy and staying consistent with them. The more consistent you are, the more that you will slowly start to see the progress. I am personally in a calorie deficit, and I've been in a calorie deficit since I started this journey. Well, besides like that little time frame of like when I wasn't eating the best and like watching my calories, but I have noticed that what works best for me is not a strict diet, it is eating in a calorie deficit. In the beginning, when I first started a calorie deficit, I was told to like, you know, cut out a lot of foods, you know, and just like eat small. And I wasn't eating like, you know, my sweet treats that I really enjoy, or I wasn't, you know, I didn't really want to go out to eat. I was just really trying to like eat, you know, like more whole foods, and that is definitely a good thing. Like there's nothing wrong with that. But I noticed that on the days that I gave myself more calories, which would be the weekends, I would like have a bigger calorie intake so that I could eat more of like my fun foods. I would end up binge eating on those days. So I would like try to eat all the sweets that I could, or, you know, eat out a lot of times throughout that day so that I could like crave, you know, curve those cravings. And since I was binge eating, I ended up just not feeling good, or I would end up going over my calorie intake for the day, and it just made me not feel good. So what I started doing now is I do not restrict myself from foods. I truly just make sure that everything is in moderation, and I focus on portion control. Portion control has honestly been the best thing that I could have done for myself, because again, I no longer restrict myself from certain foods. If I want to have a sweet treat, if I want to have a drink, if I want to eat McDonald's the day, I can, as long as it's within my calories, and I just have to know my hunger cues and stop eating when I feel myself getting too full. And honestly, not even too full, just like when I feel like I'm like, okay, at that point where I'm like, I'm satisfied, I stop eating. And honestly, now that I allow myself to have, you know, those sweet treats, going out to eat, I don't feel like I crave it as much compared to when I was restricting myself from it and I was like, I have to have it on the weekends because like this is my only chance. Now it's like, okay, I get to have it, and like if I know that I can have it, you know, the next day and tomorrow, then it's like, okay, well, I don't feel like I need to have it every single night. So maybe if you currently have tried dieting but it has not worked for you, I would suggest doing portion control and just eating in a calorie deficit and seeing if that works for you. And this is coming from someone who does not cook. I do not like cooking. I really focus on like really easy meals. I'm a really big like salad person. I do like a lot of protein, so I'll like make eggs in the morning. I'll, you know, have some bacon. I do try to eat all of my meals if I can. I don't really try to skip meals. This doesn't happen all the time. That would be something that I need to get better at. But just eating all your meals and focusing on meals that are going to keep you full, so really focusing on protein and eating and not restricting yourself too much. I will say that in the beginning of me starting this journey, I did struggle and felt like I was so hungry throughout the day. That is because I wasn't focusing on high protein meals or just making sure that I was fueling my body with the right things. It was a little bit harder for me to stick it out. I feel like the first like 2 weeks are the hardest when you start a calorie deficit, but now I honestly don't miss my old eating habits. Like I'm honestly so shocked that my body like just allowed me to eat the way that I was eating. Like some days I would eat twice, like eat out like twice, 2 times a day, and or multiple times throughout the week, or I would have like multiple cups of coffee and not pay attention to like the amount of sugar that was in the coffee creamer, or you know, I'm just a lot more cautious of like what I'm consuming and making sure that I'm like not consuming so much calories in every single meal or not so much sugar. That's another thing that I'm really focused on, is like not having so much sugar throughout the day. But honestly, once you get the hang of it, you do not start to miss your old eating habits, and you become way more aware of what you're eating, and you kind of are just like, wow, I can't even believe that I was like eating this way before, and you almost never want to go back to that. And sometimes when I do eat out, it just like doesn't hit the same. Like I'm just like I just kind of feel like a little bit more bloated after, or I just don't feel good even if I do eat smaller portions. So you'll end up kind of wanting to eat at home a lot more anyway. Okay, the thing that I found to be the hardest thing when actually losing weight wasn't actually like being consistent with my workouts or changing my eating habits. It was actually being more disciplined with myself when it comes to my friends or family. And what I mean by this is like not saying yes to every sweet treat, or going to get drinks with my friends, or you know, eating all of the same meals that my fiance is eating because he's a man and he doesn't put on weight, so he can kind of just eat whatever. I cannot do that, and I no longer want to do that, so I cannot lean into the temptation when I get the opportunity to. When someone asks me, I have to know like when it's okay to say yes and to say no. And this can actually be really hard, especially when for so long you were not paying attention to these habits. So it's gonna take the people around you a long time to kind of like really understand like, oh no, she's serious, like she actually wants to do better and make better changes. It definitely was a big like learning curve for me in my relationship. So my fiance didn't like ask me like, okay, do you want, you know, ice cream, you know, like today, or like, you know, I'm not eating the same thing as he is, or like I have to make more adjustments to my meals compared to he does. So I feel like that's something that not a lot of people talked about, and I really wanted to mention that because it's not necessarily hard changing your own habits. Like it's not easy, but it's not that hard. The hardest thing really is like the temptation and not going back to your old habits around other people. And the last thing is that you have to be the person that wants it the most, and that you have to know that no one else is going to lose the weight for you. And so like with my last tip, not saying yes to every, you know, time someone asks you to go out to eat or go get drinks, like you have to be the person that knows yourself better and knows your body to know when you can say yes to that and when you should say no. Or if there's a day where you don't really feel like working out, I always tell myself that I will never regret a workout, but I will regret if I don't. So that is usually something that motivates me, even if it's just for like 10 to 15 minutes and I just like move my body. Like there are days where I don't feel like walking and I'm like, okay, I don't want to do my walk, but as long as I do like my 10 to 15 minute yoga, I at least feel like I did something. Like it's better than doing nothing at all. Yes, I feel way more better if I like do my yoga and walk, but I'm like, I at least moved my body at one point throughout the day. Also, not being so hard on yourself. If you really think about it, like when we gain weight, we don't just gain all of this weight all at once. Like when I really look at like old pictures of myself, I'm like, wow, like this like gradually happens like over the past few years. So I cannot expect myself to like lose all of that weight within a month. Like that's why I don't mind like the steady journey and like the slower pace of like my weight loss journey that I'm on, because I feel like that's just realistic for me, and I don't feel like I'm like only eating like 1,200 calories a day. Like that just would not work for me. Like I like food way too much to eat so little for me to be like losing like 3 pounds out of the week. I would rather like lose a pound a week or every other week even, for me to be able to feel like it's more sustainable. Regardless, just don't be hard on yourself. Keep going. Find workouts that you enjoy, find meals that you enjoy. Literally romanticize the entire journey. That's another thing, is I watch a lot of videos that inspire me about weight loss. I personally like to watch girls that are currently on their journey, so you can like see them through the process and like watch it with them and like kind of be on that journey with them. It's also nice to see people that have accomplished their goals, and you can kind of see like, okay, like this is something that actually works. Like eating in a calorie deficit, working out, like it kind of just motivates you even more. Those are my tips for today. I hope you guys feel inspired to keep going with your weight loss goals, or even just your fitness goals, even if you're not trying to lose weight, or if you're just wanting to show up for yourself and feel good in your body, look good, feel good. I truly think that moving your body, eating good, you are going to look good and feel good no matter what kind of journey you're on. Weight gain, weight loss, if you're just trying to maintain your weight, whatever it may be. I do think one of my next few videos is going to be a what I eat in the day on a calorie deficit, so you guys can kind of get some more realistic meal ideas, because like I said, I'm not someone who cooks, and I like just quick, easy things to eat that also make me feel full and satisfied and not bloated. So hopefully you guys like that video, and subscribe if you are looking forward to that. That is all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will talk to you in my next one. Bye guys.